In the Oklahoman newsroom, this is an OSU update. I'm Jenny Carlson. Lots of great individual matchups coming in this Sugar Bowl for Oklahoma State and Ole Miss. And Kyle Fredrickson joins us on the phone to talk about maybe one of the best, Kyle. That's Kevin Peterson, the OSU defensive back, going up against Ole Miss wide receiver Laquon Treadwell, who's well known around here because he was a recruit that looked at OSU before he picked Ole Miss. But, what about this matchup? It seems like it's just another in a long line of really good receivers that Kevin Peterson has been put on this season.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, and not even just this season, but throughout his entire career, in and out of the conference. This is an OSU team that's faced a lot of high-powered offenses with some pretty dynamic playmakers on the edge. Just going back to that 2013 season and the Cowboys landed in the Cotton Bowl. Peterson's matched up against Dorial Green-Beckham in that Missouri offense and held him to just 53 yards receiving. Last year I think about that West Virginia game when Peterson was on Kevin White, and White ended up only with 27 yards. And then this year, albeit he's been a little bit injured and banged up and taken out of some of the halves of a few games, with some injuries at different points in the season, he's also had some pretty big time moments. You think about that goal line stand in the TCU victory was certainly a momentum changer and kind of solidified the Cowboys' really unlikely victory, beating that high-powered TCU offense. And so now we look at his final game of his OSU career with Peterson here, going up against Treadwell. He's a guy who's got 1,000 yards receiving and 76 catches this year. So a very crucial part of this Ole Miss offense. And, if the Cowboys are hoping to kind of get the upset victory, being the underdog at least right now, in terms of what the Vegas odds makers are saying, it's going to be one of those matchups that could certainly dictate the outcome of the game.
Treadwell's a guy that a lot of NFL types love, expect to see him play Sundays. But, Kyle, when you look at Kevin Peterson, this is his last game as a Cowboy and likely to be his last game playing football. I mean, he could potentially hook on with a NFL team, but seems like that would be a long shot. I mean, but his legacy as far as what he's done in an OSU uniform and, where he takes that from here, that's very well solidified at this point.
Oh, no doubt about it. And, Mike Gundy was asked about it last week in terms of, looking back at Peterson's career, whether or not he was surprised, that he turned into this caliber player, being an all Big 12 guy. And even Gundy said, yeah, he was kind of pleasantly surprised with his development and all the different things that Peterson brings to the table. But you're right, he's 5'11", he's 190 pounds, and despite, a lot of the accolades and all that stuff, you figure that if he does get a shot in the NFL, it's a bit of a long shot at this point. But in talking with Peterson, he's fully aware of that. He talked about graduating, this spring and hopefully transitioning into a coaching career is what he's hoping to do at this point. For any reporters who've talked to this guy over the years, he's got a very good personality. He's a real fast talker, very high energy type of guy. So I imagine that he transitioned into a role like that pretty well.
Yeah, I'm sure, though, he would like to finish out these playing days with one more victory. And as you say, he's had a lot of moments where he's stopped good receivers. We'll see how he does on New Year's Day against Laquon Treadwell and Ole Miss. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.